Whoa, that's
Welcome
very
back.
zen. That's zen. Wow,
Welcome back. Welcome back.
that's
Welcome
right.
back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
That's
It's that
right.
Welcome Back Carter, right?
I know we do not own the rights to that.
And they
To
do
that.
not pay us.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
don't pull us down. So good
Exactly.
morning, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Good
You
afternoon.
miss good afternoon.
Yeah, I left good afternoon for you.
Uh, that works.
Yeah. So this is what you want to call it, the Heyward CPA podcast, Heyward CPA Live, whatever you want to call it. It's a rebranding effort going on. So whatever it is, but it's us. We're here. We're back once again for our bi-weekly chat about who knows what. Now, so we're in the closing phases of what some call a busy season.
Hmm.
No, we're getting there. People are starting to panic. People are worried.
Hmm. Hmm.
They're worried. Oh man, are we gonna get in time? When we get there? Legit worries. Legit. Don't get me wrong. Legit concerns about getting in on time. But if you're rocking with us, you'll get in on time. So
For sure.
that's that. So but so I personally don't necessarily have a book of the week feature because I've been tax man. Tax man. In fact, she probably is not on right now or listening. I got to shout out old Keisha. You know, she she keeps me. She's actually replaced to an extent a role my father used to play, where tax research involved calling me. That was that's how he researched.
Hmm.
He'll tell him, yeah, I need to go research something, and he'll call me. That's his
Right.
research. So but nah. But no, I say that to say that believe it or not, there's a community of tax professionals that draw upon each other's knowledge to answer questions, go through scenarios, and discuss things. So, and our combined knowledge, while Google can aggregate different things that are written, our combined knowledge and practical application is something that is quite valuable. And what you get, when you work with a professional firm or advisory firm or whoever you are, you be surprised. Like I said, you know, and believe it or not, um, I'll speak for this firm and myself because I'm a CPA doesn't mean that I don't work or talk to non-CPAs. Like people ask me questions about tax and I answer them about tax, because we're all here to serve. I don't like that term, but advise our clients
Hmm.
in, in a way that like I tell people, I say, look, my goal or our as a firm, our main thing is to make sure that the return is prepared properly based on the law of Title 26 United States Code, which is tax code. So that's our job. Our
Hmm.
job is not here to get you a refund. Our job is not here to make you pay less than you actually owe. Our job is to make sure that we prepare the return based on tax law. Okay. Granted, we're here to get you every deduction that fits or entitled to based on the law. So that's our thing. Now, the result doesn't matter to me. You owe 50,000, you owe 50,000. I mean, what, I'm going to bed. You owe 50K because you owe 50,000. That means you made some money. All right. You don't owe 50,000 just for existing. You don't. That's why it's called income tax. You're taxed on your income. Now there's a lot of nuance in there. Because some people get money it's because they don't make a lot of income. So they get an earned income credit, so on and so forth. But anyway, we're not turning this into a tax lesson today. We'll do that. I'll do that. That's a good idea. Hold on. Yeah. All right. We'll do that as a on-demand series. So that's that.
True. Yeah.
That's that. I don't want to make people. I don't want to put people to sleep today. So, and anyway, but my point was, we are winding down the busy season, the rush. We're not winding down the tax season because the tax season is year round. And it's something that I've said over and over, that you might want to make your tax season a little more robust than 6-8 weeks, beginning of the year, with everything that's going on. But I yield. I have to get my
fix.
Yeah, but look, you can even see the little cinnamon. Look what this is. This is actually a chamomile latte.
You trying to go to sleep on the episode?
No, I'm trying to stay calm. And this is called a no bucks.
Oh, no bucks. They ain't cost you nothing.
Well, yeah, per cup it didn't cost me
per cup, right? Correct.
This is for someone that I got no bucks to go to Starbucks. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing that's part of my tariff preparation. See?
You just came up with a business name, an idea.
Oh well,
call it low bucks. Call it low bucks.
Low bucks. Yeah, there's that too.
A dollar a cup.
Hey, I mean that's what coffee used to be. I mean, it's coffee.
It was 50 cents back in the day.
I know, in the little
75%. Yeah, in the little
cup.
Yeah.
Hey man, I don't know what's going down now, man.
It's all good. It's inflation.
You
know what I'm saying?
Is inflation. It? Yes.
So look, I got a book of the week.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that.
Don't believe everything you think.
I totally get that. I understand it.
Why thinking can make you unhappy. I call that dancing with the stars. You get one idea, you get one thought, and now you have multiple stars because you're thinking about all kinds of different scenarios. Meanwhile, that initiating thought may not even belong to you. It's probably part of the program.
Yeah, I see that.
What connects us all is mind. Right? I guess there's different levels of connection. A lot of it being material and physical per se or per perception, but it's not. It's all mental. Everything is mental.
Okay. So who's the author of this book?
His name is Joseph Nguyen. Nguyen.
Oh, it might be Joseph Nguyen. Well,
it's Nguyen.
Nguyen. Oh yeah, Nguyen. Oh yeah, check this guy out. Oh, he's funkadelic, man. He's the funk right here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna get it pulled up.
Let's see. The other one they talked about was the superpowers you gain when you're present.
Mm-hmm.
How to stay in the flow, and
Okay.
how to set and reach your top goals. So, and then he breaks down certain key points, like he dives into the 2-arrow problem, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty pretty interesting. You talk about the 2-hour problem,
Mm-hmm.
2-arrow problem.
Okay.
It
What's the
is
2-arrow problem?
suffering and choice,
Okay.
right? So he talks about suffering in terms of doubt, right? You know, I use the word FUD a lot. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Yeah.
And the mind, that's the first trigger it goes to, is FUD. Fear turns into uncertainty, turns into doubt. But once you go into the side of choice, you go because with choice is like options. You have this, you have A, or you have B. But once you go to the side of choice, that choice turns into a decision, turns into certainty.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's based off of how your brain is structured, how solid you are, where confidence is built, where understanding is provided, where knowledge is being used.
So,
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, because it's still early, man. It's still early. It's still early, man. So, all right. So, we're using your fear. The fear. So you saying? So let me paraphrase.
Yeah.
Fear is like the initial when something's presented, new or old. Fear, and the fear is because of
Automatically.
Yeah.
Automatic. Like you lose. The example they gave, one of the examples they gave was losing your job.
Okay. So immediately you're
Right.
scared. Mm-hmm.
So it goes into fear. You're scared. Now that turns into uncertainty. Well, what I'm going to do now? Right.
Okay.
And then it goes into doubt. And that doubt, once you have doubt, that turns into depression. That turns into pretty like, okay, I failed. When in actuality, your firing may not even have anything to do with you.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Or losing,
that,
not firing, but losing of your job.
yeah, the
Right?
loss. Yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
So is all right. Okay, I'm with you now. I just had to get in there for us.
Yeah, you got to take a couple more
we're a
sips
cup
of
of
your
coffee
tea.
behind. We're a cup of coffee behind you. So we telling you we following you down the highway. I just had to put that out there. Okay.
Understood.
Yeah.
And then what follows that FUD is the emotional. Now it's the emotional reaction behind it, which is far more worse than the actuality of the situation.
Okay.
Right? So yeah. Well,
yeah. Okay. Henceforth, it makes yeah. I get it. So don't believe everything you think.
Correct. Because a lot of it is it's a lot of it is false. Right? These things are there to show you what you're supposed to attack. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it says so forgive fast so you can move forward. So you don't get hung up. That's one of the key takeaways in that book.
So for our crowd here, don't believe. I like that. I got to put that to the wish list. That's pretty good because it's true. I mean, not that I'm the authority on something, a psychological authority, but everything we think isn't the truth, though.
Correct.
Especially about ourselves. Oh my gosh.
Or our circumstances or situations. So let's
Yeah.
take taxes for a moment. You made a comment. How we run into people all the time where they go up. How come I got to pay so much in taxes? That's a fear based question.
Mm-hmm.
Because on the back end, they ain't spent all the money, right?
Yeah, they were living large.
So how come I have to pay all of these, right? For the most part. So that's fear-based. And then to not have understanding of how the system works.
Yeah.
Okay, you owe this money, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that. Then it's like, well, what do we see most times? We see most times where now people run from it.
Oh, absolutely. Some people run for years.
Right. And so because they believe in whatever they think it is.
Yeah.
And it's not, and that's not it's not, I mean, it's not a, I'm not going to, we're talking about this in terms of understanding. It's not right or wrong. It's just about understanding, right? This is a show of understanding. These sessions are about understanding, bringing up, confronting actual thoughts. That's the new word that I learned this week. Confronting the etymology of it. I digress.
Oh man, etymology. Saturday morning, man. I'm just saying.
Confrontation is not the same as conflict, where we all wrap it up as conflict. Confrontation equals conflict, but it's actually not.
Hey. But look, I'm gonna get Joseph. It is, I believe it's Gwen. Joseph, we gonna, okay. Is available? Does he have? Does not look like he has a audio book for it on Amazon anyway. But this is, don't believe everything you think. And we just gonna hop into your content. Forget, we gonna get back to the get back. But yeah, this is a good book right here. I like that. The message is serious. That's solid. So yeah, definitely. All right, let's get back to regularly scheduled. Cause you about to get serious over here, man. This conflict, it's not competition. What?
It all goes back to what you think, how you think.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Most people have conflict within themselves. We all do. But are we supposed to have conflict, or are we supposed to confront what we think that may not be real?
That's a very good point. It's an excellent point.
Because then you go to the warrior mindset. The war is one. You can look at all these wars and military things, right? And over the years, and decades and centuries, right? They always say the same principle is the war is won before it's even started.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the
I yield back.
Oh, you yield your time. Yeah, so the no, absolutely. That builds on what we were talking about yesterday. Not yesterday, last 2 weeks ago. Felt like it. Whereas any undertaking, when the mission is clear, that gives you a chance to succeed. So, and then we speak about, well, we're always talking about documenting and planning and looking at that. And I know that's not the most exciting business talk, but you have to have a clear mission that you go back to in order to succeed. And that's how I take that content, that comment about war. When your mission is clear and you can stay focused on your mission, it's not going to go streamlined. But when things go wrong, you can get back to it. You know what I'm saying?
Back to center. Get back to centering yourself, yeah.
Yeah. So you can get back. So you can say something, like that's what I'm saying. Good morning, sir. You good? It's about pushing the vision.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
That's what it's about. It's about pushing the vision. One challenge that people have though is laying out the vision in a way that other people can understand. So that's what people often with, we'll use the mission or the vision. If you're the, in charge of it or you're leading it, you have to make sure that it's understood by the people that are with you. So, but if you're in your mind, just to get back to the book, if you don't believe the mission can happen, how could you expect other people to go to the mission? You can't say, yeah, we're gonna walk 10 miles. All right, that's our mission. We're gonna walk 10 miles. We're doing it for a charitable cause, something like that. And the person speaking says, yeah, I don't know we're gonna make it, but because so we got to walk 10 miles to get this matching grant, but we probably not gonna make it, but we'll try, guys. Okay, right? Really, you already done bailed it out because you put in your mind that it's not gonna happen. So you've already said it. You put it out there. So we're trying, but it's probably not gonna happen. So what's anybody? So if you're at 98% belief, there's somebody definitely at 2% belief, and you just taking them out the game. They don't believe it's gonna happen. I'll go. But if you go in there and you say, hey, we're gonna walk these 10 miles, full stop. I know we can do it, and we're gonna do it. We'll walk 12 if we need to.
It's just a matter of your degree of delusion.
Yeah.
Right. So the delusion is
good.
Huh?
Some delusion is good.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's the degree of delusion, right? So 70 degrees is the same. It's the same temperature, but is it hot or is it cold?
Yeah.
Right. So you could be delusional and have false belief, or you could be delusional and have absolute belief, and you lead the charge.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You lead the charge because you're giving people purpose. You're helping people identify with purpose so they can follow you, right? So watch this leader breakdown, right? Listen, right? Empathize, appreciate, develop, empower, and respect.
There you go. So that's a leadership qualities.
Qualities, or not quality. I want to use qualities because some people think no frills is better than brand names, right? I would say function. So how it's made, how does it work, right? So if you listen to people, you speak to people so they feel understood and heard in a way, right? So you listen to them and you speak to them. You can only speak to them in that way if you've actually listened to them and have understanding. So that's a function. That's a function, right? I think the quality is at the end when that individual can actually say that, hey, this person has led me, or this person has supported me, or this person has provided, I guess, once the objective has been achieved.
Yeah.
I mean, there's room for other opinions,
other interpretations.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the reason I say quality, because I say it to the point that how you do it is not. That's how you do it. You can take any of those items and create your leadership package from anything like that. So those are qualities of a leader. That's why I thought at first, because how you lead is personal, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like at the end of the day, you have to be able to have people listen to you. You have to be able to have people. I mean, you basically have, in my deal, you know, I'm not at 1126. I'm not as sophisticated as yours is right now. So, but it's really getting people to want to do. So, not nothing against their will or nothing, but just to be like, I'm willing to do this because I believe in what's going on. And that's, I mean, that's it. You go and you be like, yo, I believe in this person. I believe in this cause. I believe in this organization. I believe in it. So you say, oh, now sometimes raw belief is not enough. So you're like, I believe. Some people believe, but they just really don't know what to do next. Like, how do I, what do I do? So that's where your listening comes in, your empathy comes in, because you say, okay, all right.
And your misunderstanding, right? So, you know, it's all about, remember, I always talk about whiffums, right? It's important to understand people's whiffums. What's in it for me? Because everybody has a what's in it for me. Everyone. If someone says, I don't have a whiffum, you need to move away from it.
Yeah, well, that's yeah, something. Yeah, right? Well, I think because the concept sounds selfish, so people think, well, I'm not, because it's, you know what I'm saying, they take it as transactional. They take it as, well, I'm, when it's spoken, I know you don't mean it that, but I'm saying that's what people think. They're like, well, no. I mean, you know, because infamy speaks like I'm getting something for me at the cost of somebody else. That's
well, but then that turns into self-centeredness, not necessarily selfishness, right? Per se, right? But that leaves room for open conversation, because, again, you know, a whiffum can be as simple as, I'm around great people. I'm around a great organization. The organization has a mission and a purpose, and that's what makes me feel alive. It makes me feel like I'm a contributing factor to a mission, right? As simple as that. It can be something as simple as that. And so, no, I get what you're saying. But again, everyone has a whiffum, and if they don't, and if they say they don't have a whiffum, I mean, I guess it's time for a little more discovery questions, right? Yeah. To see if you can help them along. You know,
I'm just chilling, man. Even still,
that's a whiffum. That's a whiffum. Yeah. I'm just here.
Yeah.
You know, there's an interesting comment there that says you have to encourage strategic thinking. Well, that's not easy to do either. Because I think most people don't understand strategy, right? Strategy is developing a plan to do something when there's nothing to be done. You just have a goal or an objective you want to meet, you know. And then tactics is doing something when there's something that needs to be done. And so, how do you think about strategy? You know, which is it's much more easier to give people an action to take than to get them to strategically think, especially if they're in the following capacity.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, you know, because I've done a little for my own personal knowledge explanation. That's why I come to mission, strategy, and tactics.
Right.
The mission is the goal. The strategy, how are we going to get to the goal, and the tactics of what we're going to do to you know, the how is the action behind how we're going to get to the goal. Mm-hmm. So, you know, strategic. What I say, and taking that comment to say, the strategic thinking is to get the people that are doing. So, for instance, on the front line, you might have. Let's talk about like an event. Okay, so you're having a conference, and you have people that are registering people. So the act of registration, take the name of people, get them registered. Good organizations or good events or whatever it is don't have those people detached from the mission and the strategy. They're not detached. They're not, I'm just taking names. I don't know why I'm here. I'm just here taking whatever. I'm just, so it's detached. So because you're the front line. So if someone comes in and says, "Hey," they either have a slight issue, or do you know when this is happening? Do you know if they're covering this? And your answer, now you may not know, but your answer like, I don't know. I'm just here taking people in. I'm just registering people. I don't know nothing. You not thinking strategic. Your people at the front not thinking strategically. They just here. It could be. I'm not sure, but we do have a you know information desk over here to go check with them. I heard so and so, but I think we're gonna. It's taking a mission and permeating through the whole situation, so that yes, exactly. Everyone needs to know why. Those are the strongest organizations where everybody knows why. You don't have it where someone's like, well, I know you have it, but your strongest organization where people know that. So why are we doing it? I don't know why we doing it. Why like da 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 da. Why? Because you're in the face. So that all the way to back, just like people that are setting up things, people that are cleaning up. Like, everybody understands the mission. Everybody. In order for them, they understand the mission and they understand how we doing it. Good customer. The strategy could be we want people to feel great when they walk into the spot. Our strategy to succeed at this conference is that we want people to feel good so that they feel empowered and they're open to learning. Okay, that's how we're going to achieve our goal. Our mission. It's hypothetical. Say biz therapy conference, hypothetically, right? So we want people to come in and we want people to immerse themselves in the discipline of humanized business. We want them to be open. Our mission is to spread this, what we talk about here. How are we going to do that at this conference? We're going to do it by making them feel welcome, making them feel energized, making them feel like this is a education, it's a safe space for people to talk, it's a safe space to not know and ask. That's how we're going to do it so that they immerse themselves. So the tactics from every person that talks to somebody, we have to have that kind of welcoming, opening attitude. So basically, if I come to the biz therapy conference, just like that, and I come in and they like, what's your name? uh, James. James, I don't see your name on this list. You sure you registered? Yes. Oh, okay. Well, look, I don't know what to do with this, but hold on. I'm gonna wait for my supervisor to come here. You off top, I'm like, does that match what I laid out as a strategy? Like at all. It's I saw this guy Kory on the internet. He was all hype. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go see this dude. And my front end is like, could care less. They could care less. They like, I'm just here. It's whatever.
Sometimes everybody don't need to know strategy either. Whatever. Some people just need to be able to, depend on where they're playing their position. They just need to execute that position.
Yeah, but I like to say execute it with the strategy. It does. I think is how it's distilled. So I think the strategy, the strategic method, and this is where I think some of this stuff starts becoming a echo chamber, because the people with the big brains think strategy, then it starts going ridiculous, like you on it. But I believe that you want to distill it down so that it's kind of like KPIs. Like KPIs really exist so you don't have to reveal the financial statements to everybody. That's what KPIs really do. So they do it. Just to me, is the strategic thing is to say, well, how do I get that? How do I get the people that don't need to know the entire strategy like the back of their hand to think strategically in their little part? So if I go in, I say, hey, we have an orientation. Look, we need you to be upbeat. You need to be like this. Here's some, I'm gonna give you a little card, little cheat sheet, something like that. If you want, I mean, some people don't want to do their job, but that's another conversation. What I'm saying, that so that your strategy goes from it is permeated through the whole situation. Because sometimes I think that's my thing is like when you have people detached from the whole, you run into this issue. And a lot of businesses, and it's rough, the larger business gets, the harder it is. Like even the aforementioned notebooks, but at Starbucks, one thing, these are case studies, so we're not endorsing if you're boycotting any of these places or something, whatever. We're just saying two places that I would say that the mission, you see it: Starbucks and Chick-fil-A. The mission is executed on the tactical level. Like that's, if you ask people that go to Chick-fil-A, a lot of them will notice the my pleasure. I think, now the one in Brooklyn, all right, we working on them. It was no, but you know what? I'm gonna tell the story though. Like, well, so
hold on, before you tell that story though, let me ask you this, because so then wouldn't you attribute that to why? Knowing the why, like what was mentioned in the comments.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm
It's
saying.
better for people to understand the why than really understand strategy. I mean, because
well, no, I think it's why, but it's when I'm looking at strategy, I say my definition of strategy is how we do it, and tactics is what we do.
yeah,
So I say that they're not segmented. I say strategy is the bridge between the mission and the doing. So for instance, what I'm thinking of, because all business something goes wrong. So strategically, you fell right into the story, right? This is how it goes. So I go to Chick-fil-A, and I will use my story to characterize. I go to Chick-fil-A, and I live in North Carolina, so you go to Chick-fil-A, it's like the cars are wrapped around the building, but you still it rolls.
They
It
move.
moves. I don't care what Chick-fil-A you go to, it moves. They got it. There's a strategy. Look, their strategy. They rebuilt most of these restaurants to strategically deal with the drive-through during COVID, but the drive-throughs were crazy before COVID. So they took it and said, well, man, how are we going to get our food out faster? So, what they do, the tactics, they come to the window and whatever like that. So I think they're being fed the strategy. But anyway, back to my story. So I go to, it's a walking one in Brooklyn. And, I ordered like the grilled breakfast sandwich or something like that. We were in the middle of shifts. Then the thing I noticed, it was different. I was like, people were kind of standing around, this stuff I see it, like, McDonald's or something. You know what I'm saying? When I go there, like, but it took me, I ordered like simple, it was like another number whatever combo and some nuggets. It took me 15 minutes to get the order. 15 minutes at Chick-fil-A. Right? But and not only that, this is a Chick-fil-A with no drive-through.
Yeah, you had to go inside.
I was inside. There's only inside. Now, all the cats that's doing the Uber Eats was coming to the window on the side, in their scooters. But the volume was nowhere near there. So I was like, and look, I'm not, Karen or Kareem. I ain't none of that. I usually don't get into all that, stuff like that. But I was taken aback. Like, I was messed up. Like, yo, why is this taking so? And not only that, like 3 people behind me got their food. Like, this was like foreign. Like, I'm like, what? I'm like really like perplexed. So, once again, this is why I say the bridge. So I actually emailed them, and I'll tell you, because the proprietor of it is of the culture. So I'm looking at it as a business owner too, because it may not be a me.
I was just going to say that you had your business mind on.
Yeah, I'm saying up there like, look, this is me. I'm saying it with like love, like, hey, yo, this happened. This isn't, what I'm used to, and and I know that's not your level. That's not what you about.
That's not your model, right?
Yeah, right. That's what I know that your strategy is not for someone to be sitting there no 10, 15 minutes at Chick-fil-A.
Right.
So I emailed them. Now I know
they sent you some coupons, Joe?
Well, they sent me a free dessert. You know what I'm saying?
A free, like A as in one, A,
as in one.
Capital A or lower?
Yeah, one dessert. But I checked it out though, but I was happy with it. Well, I was happy with it because one, they clearly got a help desk like we got. 2,
they do.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I sent it in, and it was like it came back like they have a complete division straight for that type of stuff.
Really? That's good.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is the people in that division have to be connected to the whole thing to understand, and they send it back. Oh, and they had to write, well, thank you for telling them, blah blah blah, the whole 9 yards. And here's a good thing. We look forward to seeing you again. Thank you for telling us, but you can't. We come here to see you again. So the tactics is sending the message, but the strategy was the message.
Right.
Like it was, thank you for telling us. But we try to boom, we understand, blah, 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 blah. Here's something on the love like that. Okay, boom. All right. To Pastor Heyward's point, yes, I went back and what I have to do, I didn't do this, and I meant to. I fell short. I went back because I was doing it when I was making my little shopping run because it's next door to the store. Went back. I'm a little shook though, because like I don't put something in there. Cats be like, yo, they might have me flagged. I'm like, oh, I was like, oh boy. I was like,
I'm sure you're not the only complainant.
Yeah, I know, but I'm only worrying about my food. I'm taking it back to the OG, and so I go there. But no, it ran as it was like 5 minutes. So yeah, it might have been a bad day. It might have been a shift change. But that's why I wasn't on some, yo, you guys were da-da-da-da-da. I'm saying, I'm just like, hey guys, this happened. But my point to all this is that the mission and the strategy has to permeate throughout the whole situation, which was actually the disappointment on the front end because they weren't on it. You go to you start wondering where they find these people. Where they find you? Like you just like they're trained. You know what I'm saying? They're trained to execute the strategy. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So I know you don't have to necessarily analytically understand the strategy, and regurgitate it. You have to understand what we're trying to do. You have to understand and why we're trying to do it. Like what you have to, to be efficient. It's just like the games today in basketball. The mission to win the championship. The strategy is, X, Y, Z. Your skills are the skills, but how we're going to exploit this, how we're going to do that. if you have people that are disjointed from those places, you're gonna fall short on the mission because, and sometimes it's not that they don't care, it's just that they're not brought up to a point of saying,
reinforcement, leadership.
yeah, to say, hey, and when an error happens, for some people to say, okay, look, this happened. Why is this an error? This is an error for our lexicon, whatever we want. This is an error because of this. This is why we're doing that. This is why we're doing this. And I just see in stronger organizations. I'm trying to get away from using successful. And, everybody uses the same catchphrase. Stronger organizations, you notice. So, I mean, where did I come up? I said, Chick-fil-A now, they've expanded their flag, so more people on the East Coast definitely know where it is. But what I mentioned, training, Starbucks and Chick-fil-A. And, if you listen, if you've been to any of those places, whatever, the light bulb, you like, yeah. There's a way that they do stuff. You go to Starbucks, they greet you. Some of that is security. All these stores are supposed to do it because it's supposed to be security. It's supposed to be retail. It's supposed to be security to be like, I saw you come in the store, so it's on, and I want to be able to see your face in case the jukes is on and I have to give an ID. That's part of the reason they do that. See, there's a tactic to the strategy. Now they may not tell them the strategy behind it, but they're like, I need you to greet every customer, be like that. I need you to do that. Well, it's one, because if you have to give an ID to something, and that's in the worst case scenario. But the best
case is the experience, right?
Yeah, and they feel that. So now, not only that, to go even further, as the customer, I'm part of the mission. Back to the Chick-fil-A story, because I'm like, this isn't what's supposed to happen. So I'm like policing the whole thing, because I'm like, but wait a minute, this isn't right. Hey, Chick-fil-A, I was at one of your places. This wasn't right. Just letting you know. I'm coming back. That goes back to my rating thing, when I say, like online reviews, to me, which you kind of played out, but like that, if you get a 1 or 2, forget. I mean, they weren't coming back to do business with you. The 1 or 2
hide behinds. We call them hide behinds.
Yeah, those are about them. The 1 or 2 is about them. 3s, as I said, 3s concern me way more than 1s or 2s. 1s or 2s, we're sorry you had that experience thing. You wasn't coming back, or you trying to get something for free. 3s are, I was expecting my measure, my expectation, and what I got wasn't in sync.
It didn't align, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm with you though.
Right.
4 is, I'm kind of, so, yeah, it was okay, but I understand. 5
right.
was good, but 3 is probably the most, like, yo, you need to check the 3, because the 3 is teetering on. I don't know about this. Next time I could take it or leave it. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I can take it or leave it now.
Right.
Because so those are the things that, and I mean, we've gotten 3s, we've gotten 2s. We the worst accountants ever. Like, really? A lot of times that's because of the result of the situation. And that's the thing. Sometimes it's the result. In our business, is the result. But this is a very, very impromptu topic. Oh, we all over the place, but we're really not.
No, actually, it also ties, all of this stuff ties back into that book.
Yeah.
Don't believe everything you think, right? Exactly. So now we can expand across that. We talked about strategy, strategic thinking, vision, and mission, right? So again, if you have a false belief or don't have an understanding of something, you're going to believe X, Y, when you should be believing and have an understanding of Z. Yeah. And so that's important to the individual, It's important to the organization, right? So even for you, with the Chick-fil-A scenario, you went in there. It wasn't what you're used to, right? You could easily just believe, oh, they're trash.
Yeah.
The business model is actually, I could see their peak, and now they starting to fall
off. Yeah,
you're gonna judge them. You could have easily did a review and said Chick-fil-A is becoming the horrible brand because they only withstood, right? You could have went that route, but you didn't do that, right? Because you didn't believe that this is something just ain't sitting right. Let me go and share my thought process as a business owner and as a consumer first. They responded back to you, which gave you even more of a surprise because that made you understand where you are in business and made it more effective, right? Then they gave you a treat to go because they want you to go back, and then they also extended themselves to say, "Hey, we'll see you soon." So you went back and revisited, right? And so you got better service, and your expectations was put back to where you're normally used to. So what does that show? You didn't believe your initial undertaking and your thought. You went and saw it through to understand it a lot deeper and follow the breadcrumbs to where you got to a satisfactory at the end. So it all relates. It all ties in. It all corresponds.
We had a case study, and incidentally, as you were saying that, I mean, like, this wasn't late. Like, I probably talked about 3-4 people. I'm like, I went to Chick-fil-A, and it just wasn't right. Like, so it wasn't right.
Bad news travel, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, and I'm like, I said, I gotta say something. Now, what I didn't do that I need to do is say something in the positive to go back and say, look, yo, this, you know, it was good. So like that, because one thing about, we tend to give feedback on the negative. That's just, you know, what we do, you know, and I slid on that, but when I go back, I get another receipt and I go in there and I said, okay, I'll have a 2 times, and then I'll say, yo, nah, everything was good. Like, you know, I appreciate, you know, the response, but the response from them probably to what you're saying probably was more, you know, it was, you know, because it wasn't like, you know, I was going to location, like, no, I ain't going anywhere no more, man, like, oh, like that. And but then again, you have to say, hey, man, how do we get better? How do we get there? And as I said, looking at the proprietor who's of the culture, I'm like, nah, I want her to win. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like that's so there's a bigger thing there. And, you know, but it's setting there. And it's a training moment, you know, for her people, you know, to sit there with management, be like, hey, we have to pay attention to these things. You know, we have one thing in restaurants, and they're working on it. We discussed it at the SE How. Who incidentally got some SE How news to talk about in a second. But one of the things is learning to say, man, what's the time? Here's another good example. The restaurants will say, look, what's the time between placing an order and customer fulfillment? You know, so not fast food, so it's not going to be 5 minutes or less. You know, 15 minutes is acceptable. People, when you wait like 20, even if you go to a restaurant, you place your order, you wait 20 minutes, you know. If it gets to 30 minutes, you're like, excuse me. Like this,
yeah, we're still here.
Yeah, like that's this what you say. So, you know, a strategy is now we got, you know, we got to get it out in under 15 minutes. That's our strategy. What the strategy, the mission to keep the, you know, customers happy, keep them, you know, keep them fine. But 15 minutes, okay. How do we do that? Ba. That's it. We check. We got different check. You know, however the kitchen is being run. So, you know, it's things we talk about, but I think this is where in smaller businesses, it is hard to measure yourself. And it's difficult. Like you, especially if it's like just you, like you just sitting there. But there's something to it because you play that, we always talk about you play that different role. You're the technician, you're the owner, you're the shareholder, and all this other stuff. So you start saying, well, how do I make this stuff happen? And being orderly, getting into that type of paradigm where you're like looking and saying, how the tactics match the strategy? How do they match? Because you can do things just for the sake of doing them, and they have nothing to do with what you're trying to get done.
Mm-hmm.
It's those people that are always busy. They doing it. I always say they running in quicksand. Yes. Like you just, it's like I've been running, you steadily going down. Like, okay, you're not getting anywhere. So, this book unlocked open this is open all this up. So, I mean, but as I was saying, you look at these things and it's a deeper level. I was mentioning ST How because it's the growth of that. You can easily, and this is what happens. You start with food. I cook food. Everybody cooks food. Everybody knows the concept of cooking food. You cook food, you either been around it, you do it yourself, something like that. But the concept of cooking food in a commercial application takes a deeper level.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's health concerns. There's, there's like that.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but then there's delivery.
Yeah.
It's delivery because there's an expectation. Like, and we are so set. Eating out is such a part of our culture now that based on where you go, you got a certain expectation.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to a higher end restaurant, you still don't, you got that 20-25 minute upon placing order. But if it's 30, you kind of, because you like, shit.
I think 2025 is too long though.
I know, but you can.
No, I'm saying
I'm higher end.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna come check you. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna say, "Oh, you okay?" Whatever.
Yeah,
so,
I get you.
Yeah, but I'm saying like a fast casual. Yeah, 2020. Yeah,
that's way too. You're talking about two. You're talking about two. Well, anything under 5 minutes is really not good. That means they're sitting under the warmers. You don't know how long it's sitting.
Yeah, so it's about 10 minutes, like the Chinese restaurant. Yeah. Chinese, I don't care what you order, it's gonna be 10 minutes. You give them like they say it's 10 minutes, but even that is strategic. Everybody knows if you go to Chinese restaurants, everybody knows they're gonna tell you 10 minutes. You think they're doing that just coincidentally? No, they know
they got a pan for this, a pan for that.
Yeah.
And then the finalization pan. And if it's a really big one, they got somebody working on the vegetables, they got somebody working on the meat, and then they got somebody that works the all-in pan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But your expectation is 10. You are still in your mind 10 minutes, and there's very few people will pull out a timer and say you're like 10 minutes. Sometimes when it's busy, sometimes it's 15 minutes. You 20 minutes, but you so indoctrinated to 10 minutes that it's just. Oh, they're busy today. Yeah, like that's
you
know what I'm saying? Like that's not coincidental. They do it on purpose. They tell you so. They just keep hitting you. So that's a tactic that goes to their strategy. They strategy, like, yo, you like, oh, so because I've never really been in a restaurant. I've been there, like they've missed orders. They've been a little long, but the way it's really like. We've been sitting here waiting for, the Chinese takeout. You were like 10 minutes, and like that. So it's part of the game. So that's why I was saying, going back to the example of the conference or something like that on the front end, my tactical people, they got to understand the strategy on some level. Yes, I say.
Oh no, the tactical people, not everybody. That's
but
not everybody.
People. But even if I go to environmental services, I want everybody possible to understand.
Correct. Correct.
They had to. Now, I don't want anyone because one thing you get away from self-policing. If you have a group of people that know, and then another group, they just they ain't really understanding, then you lose the ability for people to self-police because then you don't have people just be like, no, that's not right, and you can reduce the number of questions that come up the ladder. Now, some people don't want that. Some people want everybody check with me on this and that. But your organization is not going to grow like that.
Mm-hmm.
They have to, So this is what I was saying. They have to be buy into the vision. So you call on that, which we could use vision, mission, objective, and I want everybody. Y'all understand what's happening here because it makes it. And not only that, then I want my end user to buy in too, my customer. So now we have this streamlined.
Mm-hmm. You go vertical as long as you want, and that makes absolute sense. On the flip side of I was referencing the event scenario you gave earlier, right? And,
Mm-hmm.
Where they standing in the front taking names, signing in. A lot of that is really just fillable spots to get things done. So understanding the why and not the strategy. Situation dictates the rules. So if you're in a small organization and everybody within the organization, everyone should know the strategy, the tactics, the vision, the mission, the why, as well as understand you may not do others' jobs, but have an understanding of what their jobs entail. So it helps you better position yourself as well as the organization to provide what you're going to the output for the customer, right?
Yeah.
Or client.
But to your point, no, I do get that. I guess because sometimes you might have temporary help or something like that. But somebody has to be on that level that knows it.
Oh, correct.
You see what I'm saying? So like if you have people that just like that, you need someone down there, or not down there, but someone in that role, which might be the over management,
who can guide it.
Yeah, who could get it. So it's somebody that could care less. They just there for the day.
Right.
You still, when you bring them in, you orientate, because a lot of it is how you come in. I've worked with temp workers. I've been a temp worker, and you go in and they like tell you the deal when you get there. Hey guys, and a lot of it is you check the person who's going to be supervising you sets the tone. So that's but no, we on we on the same page, man.
Look at that last comment. Look at that.
I saw that. I haven't been there in so long. I haven't been in there. I have been in churches like
Me neither, man. What?
I don't know.
Way back. Wow.
Yeah, I can't answer that one, man. I have no idea. But I guess it matches a lot of the fast food situations. They're there. And it is, but I think the point to make there is, the experience is memorable. So if they're across the street from one another, there's a higher percentage of people that go to Chick-fil-A. Like it's just, haven't seen churches drive through with a wraparound. Like it's not like it hasn't been on fire. So that's like and it's location by location too. Now you talk about location by location, or churches or something. Yeah, you gotta see what's going on. You gotta take the temperature at a specific location. So you gotta take. So
I'm not going until I get the review first.
Yeah, but if you rocking with churches, you gotta you might want to check the you might want to get the location.
Mindful.
Like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? So
Just be mindful of any and everything, man. That, nothing or nobody is out of that place. You got to just be mindful of things, man. So,
but I will say though that if there's a problem, I'm pretty confident that all these fast food restaurants, they have some sort of apparatus if you have a problem, because you got to bear in mind these places are huge. These are big companies, man. They're not, they're pretty big. So I would think he going down the line.
rabbit hole.
He going down the hole. I can't do.
It depends. Do you want a biscuit with all the fixings, or do you want a sandwich with all the fixings?
But I guess he's saying that, when you go in.
I know what he's saying. I know what he's saying.
Like it's that, and it's interesting though, because could you imagine though when McDonald's first started, like how it was? Like can you really imagine? Like it probably was really like on some Chick-fil-A stuff when McDonald's first opened, the early days. It probably was really like,
because they was focused on timing.
Yeah,
that was their focus. If you watch that documentary, they was focused on timing.
Yeah,
right.
But I'm saying the service, I'm sure. But it's hard when you get so large, you get so big, like the company gets big, that it's if you move away from that and you focus on profits, that's when you say they got have potential to have better service. They all do. And that's,
well, the risk you run is you dealing with people's taste buds, palates. And a lot of times that's connected to emotions, right? Some people eat to make them feel good. Some people eat because whatever the reason is, right? Whatever their reason is, you tied to the emotional aspect of their taste buds. And don't let it give them a headache or make them feel nauseous or queasy. It's really a wrap.
But but the food, this is not scientific, but I'm just saying the food tastes better in two circumstances. When you go in for a pleasant experience,
right,
and when it's free,
right.
Those are the times. So if you're in it, and your strategy is, so I would say that Chick-fil-A strategy is you feel the way. And first of all, that food is more expensive. It's on compliment. It's a chicken sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Like we can get into the specifics of chicken sandwich thing. But like if we go chicken sandwich there, chicken sandwich at Zaxby's. Like we're talking about. Everybody got a chicken sandwich, but they've carved their space there. But what did we spend most of this time talking about? Their service. We talked about their service. We ain't, nothing. I was up here dissecting their sandwiches. It was the service, so it makes them stand out. Whereas we're lumping Church's, Biscuitville, McDonald's, Burger King, Arby's, we lumping them together. When I said it, the first two, I said Starbucks and Chick-fil-A. Using my own thing, those are the ones I'm like, they kind of. And then what you do is you also get a place where people start saying, "Oh no, I don't go to those other places because it's not the food. It's all designed to kill you."
I digress.
I'm just kidding. But I'm just saying, it's that, and that's a big business lesson. Like and when we get into our branding section, maybe we'll do branding next week, and then 2 weeks, like. They're set there, but it starts from that. It's done by design. It's sitting there to say, hey, we want to be, not only we want to have the best chicken sandwich, but we want people to feel good about getting our chicken sandwich. What does McDonald's do? McDonald's do so much now. It's an institution. You can go to Mickey D's. Look, everybody call it Mickey D's. It's your expectation
You
There's
get that
nothing.
extra mac sauce, son. You get that extra mac sauce.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like your expectation in McDonald's now is probably so low. Nobody don't expect no, like they customer service reviews. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't have no expectation. I don't really don't eat McDonald's anymore, but like that Burger King, their expectation even less than McDonald's. Like, you know, like you don't have no expectation when you go there. You know, you just like, I'm going here to get this thing. It should take me.
I make my stuff at home, man. You know,
Well,
I try to keep it clean.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do, but just the circumstance. This is a case study. It's just saying with people's expectation, you know, like it's no, you like, yeah, you know. Now, granted, if you wait 20 minutes at McDonald's,
but them lines is long though.
I'm saying it's indoctrinated. That's what I'm trying to say. Even I was just about to say, even if you wait 20 minutes at McDonald's, they're gonna stop you from going back to McDonald's. You gonna go back.
Yeah, on 40 minutes, you'd be like, all right. You'd be pissed off. They might give you extra sauce or two.
Yeah, but if you gonna go back, but they've on drive-through performance.
Yeah, I guess I can't speak to it, but.
No, well, I've been, you know, I had to go get that's one of my man's spots. And they do. So all of them are good people. It's the presentation, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
You know, right. The chick, but it has to be active. It has to be, you have to decide that your situation is going to be this. You have to say that, we're doing it as part of our strategy to achieve the mission, because the mission is profits. It's all their mission is profits. We can wrap it up in all these little things, but it's profit. So how are we going to do it? McDonald's, cheap, fast. We're going to beat you in the head so much that you hooked. You just going to come here. You like, it's just, we're going to be everywhere wherever you possibly are. We're going to be within this certain range you're going to be able to find us everywhere. Like that. Now, we may have people in there leaning over the cash register, chilling, because we're going to use a lot of turnover labor. We have to, you know, we get people, blah, 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 who now want $20 an hour. But I'm going to leave that at that. But, you know, at $8 an hour. So, I mean, I guess they're saying at $20 now they're going to work harder.
You know, you're really going down a rabbit hole. No, that's about fairness. What people think is fair.
Fair.
That's what I mean. I'm saying.
I'm not familiar with that.
You quit right exactly the point I'm making.
Exactly
the point you said from 8 to 20. What, you gonna work harder? That is not about working hard. It's not about working smarter. It's about people don't believe everything you think. They believe that.
Hey, you know what? There you go. That's where we're gonna end it right there. That's perfect. That's it right there. That's it. There we go. There you go. I'm good. I yield. That roll there real smooth right there. Perfect way to end the day. This was we in OT anyway. So
no doubt.
But there was interesting topics there. But you know, once again, tell a friend to tell a friend. Check us out every 2 weeks. You can go to our YouTube channel, check us out, listen to previous episodes so that you can get caught up, because sometimes we reference previous episodes in here, get caught up.
Subscribe,
hit the notification button. As you can see, I have my camera in the back. I know I've been talking about more content for like 3 years, but it's coming. It's all a process. So we giving more, but we want to know what It's on your mind. At this point, just email us. That's probably why we're getting these crazy emails, because I put the email address out there. But hello@Heyward-CPA. Send us an email. Something's on your mind, you know, you want us to cover, want us to do a little research and talk about it. Give us a call, because we're here to help, though. I mean, in between the big words and the snark, we are here to help. So we're here, but I want to, thank everybody that's tuned in, our live studio audience, live discussion in the chat over there today. Very live. I've never had it go this far down. This was kind of lively in the chat. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
There. Let's say we some of our legacy followers, the bedrock, and all that, man. And yo, we out, man. I mean, unless you got anything else. I mean, I just
just biztherapycoaching.com. Come through. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. All right, then. So, hey, with that being said, enjoy your Saturday. If you're going through the pollen apocalypse, protect yourself.
Oh my goodness.
And we're gonna check out the deuce. Peace out.